Okay, round two. Let's try this. I'm on.
Hi,
Hey,
it
it,
came through.
it worked. Wow, what a little just reminder that we are all newbies sometimes, just over here Googling how to
Always,
add somebody, how to
always.
add somebody to live. Well, I'm super excited to do this with you. I think that everybody, this is Caitlin. I'm Jade. Caitlin, do you want to say just a little bit about what you do? And then we can give some tips for all of our followers.
Yeah, for sure. So I own a agency called MDM, and we are a digital growth company. So we help creators, small business owners, and entrepreneurs scale their digital presence online.
Amazing. And I actually know Caitlin because she was one of the souls that hired me when I first started social media management. And then I branched out and created my own social media agency as well. I like to call myself a boutique agency because I really
Yes.
still like, I have like such a hand in everything that we do. And I really specialize in med spas and aesthetics and all the fun health and wellness types of things. So today, our whole entire purpose of doing this live is just for all of our followers to be able to walk away with tangible tips that they can do this week to educate themselves, to increase their visibility, and talk about the things that you might be doing wrong that is holding you back from being visible on social media. So let me pull up really quickly because I came out of it for to Google how to live. Uh,
Isn't it crazy that we like found each other? Gosh, was it like over a year and a half ago? Are we coming up on 2 years?
yeah,
That's crazy. I've loved
and
watching. I've loved
and
watching everything you've grown into.
through social media.
And through social.
It just kind of is just like the full circle moment that like you never know who is watching or any of that.
That
So,
that's
okay.
that's such a great point because when I really quick point was because when I was watching you, I was like, this girl knows her shit. She's doing the things that I would do. She's thinking about things the way I would think about them. And that's what made me reach out. So that's like such a good lesson to start off
Such a
with.
good lesson because also I don't feel like you had been somebody that was like even on my radar. I wasn't like, oh, this
Hmm.
girl is liking my posts all the time or anything like that. It just literally, you sent me a direct message and was
Hmm.
like, hey, do you want, can I hire you? Are
I was
you
like, I'm
open
having
to
a
that?
baby. I need
Yeah.
your help.
Yeah. And then I was like, wait, what? And then just learned so much that experience. So yeah, that's honestly tip number one is like just because a post isn't having the greatest visibility or you don't have the most views on it, you don't stop doing it because you never know who you're connecting with or who's been watching you from a distance, right?
Hmm.
Totally.
So true.
So, what do you think, like in your expertise? I know that you've worked on a ton of accounts, some really big accounts, some smaller creators. Like, what is your one mistake that you see small business owners making on social media that is just killing their visibility?
Okay. I love that you asked me this because I feel so strongly every time I see people doing this, but it is not having the clarity on their messaging, number one, and number two, not positioning their client as the hero of the story that they're telling. They're
Love
making
that.
themselves the hero. And, I think there's a time and a place for that, but when you are trying to find new people to work with, and really when you're telling your story, your brand story, you need to be making your client the hero and you are the guide. So I think that's the biggest mistake I see, and it's of course always from great intentions, right? You like want to share about your experience and you want to share about the work you do, but when someone is really in it and needs the help that we offer, they need to understand how we are going to support them, how a business owner is going to be guiding them out of their problem and to a solution of success.
Freaking love. In my social media course scene, I do like Instagram audits in there. And I just did an audit for somebody, and that was my main feedback. I call it you centric versus I centric. And so I like looked at their page and I was like, your entire page is happy birthdays for your like staff members and like the accomplishments that they've made. But when I come to your page, I actually have no idea what you do. Like, great that they
Mhm.
won this award, but like,
Mhm.
how does that like come across? Like, how does anybody, if you can look at your last like 9 posts and you can't walk away knowing exactly what you do and what you offer, then that's a problem, right?
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, I do love that because I totally agree. And same with like the med spa world, same thing is being like, okay, how can you make your client feel the most confident? And like, how are you showing them that? How are you making them feel not insecure about what they're doing or anything like that? Love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Well, sorry, one more point
no,
to
go.
say on
Yeah.
that. I could like go off forever, so keep me in line. But I think clarity is the number one, but then like so once you get your clarity and your messaging straight, then it goes into the strategy because the happy birthday posts and the awards that you mentioned, like those play a role in the entire strategy, but they shouldn't be the first role. They shouldn't be the first thing. They should be like
Sprinkle.
extra. Yes, a little sprinkle, a little something to build community and share joy. But again, I think people start there because it's really easy to talk about like, okay, on paper, like we won this award, this means a lot to me, but it doesn't always mean a lot to your customer or your
Totally.
future customer. um so yeah, that's why business owners love to hire people like us because we give them that bird's eye view. We take them a little bit out of it, which is really hard when you're a business owner wearing all the hats, doing all the things. Um, yeah, even like I'm sure I know you've talked about this with your coach, and like we do the same with support from branding. It's like sometimes you need to be able to ask for help outside of yourself and ask help for people that are doing it better than you. So yeah,
Saves you so
that's
much time. Yeah, it literally
yeah.
what would take you 5 hours might take some me or you 1 hour, right? And so like your time is the most valuable thing that you have. It is literally
Hmm.
the most value and the most limited resources that you have. And so to be able to take something that takes you 5 hours and put it into one, you're getting 4 hours in your day back. Like what could you do to grow your business when you do that, you know? It's just so important. I know that you are the SEO queen because you guys not only do social media, but you also have your husband who does website SEO, like helps all that. So, how do you think that social media? I want to hear your perspective. I'll give mine about how social media and SEO are working together to launch your brand and increase visibility.
Yes, great question because I think and I relate to SEO when I first started learning about it feels so big and scary and technical. And it's funny that you call me the queen because I feel like I still like there's still like so
Your
much
husband's the
there's
king,
he is the king.
and
He's
you're
the king.
along
I'm like,
for the ride.
tell me about this, tell me about that. But really, like to break it down and how I understand it, it's a lot simpler than we think, right? So we're gonna think about SEO as the entire ecosystem of what you're doing online. So we know that your website is always going to be like the central hub. And this is an asset that you own, right? We don't own our social channels. So if you're not already like documenting the posts that you have or driving to blog posts and using social as a way to sprinkle in that knowledge, like you need to start because at any minute social
Taken
platforms could be
away.
taken from us, i.e.
TikTok,
our
great example.
friends
I
on
mean, it,
TikTok
yeah,
that
yes,
rely on
got
that for
scared.
their
Yes,
yes, and rely on that for their income. So we need to be owning our channel. So we have our web, we have our social, we have our customers that are leaving reviews. Like, okay, now we need to spread these out and look at how they all interact together. And I think a lot of the times business owners act like they're separate. But really, what it is like thinking, like, let me give an example based off social. So, social is going to be like the top layer of connection to everyone. That is where we're giving our quick tips, our thoughts, our wins, our celebrations, our client experience. And those should be bite-sized pieces of information that drive back to, let's say, a blog or another long-form piece of content like a video, etc., on your website. The purpose of social media is to get people off of social and clicking your links to go where you want them to go. Most of the time, that's going to be your website to purchase, to book with you, etc. So all of these actions that we're taking, we're adding keywords to our bios. We're adding first visibility. We're adding keywords to our captions. We are driving people off to the website. And that's like a whole other world, right? Your website needs to be formatted to be very clear on your messaging as well and to take the customer through a certain experience. get them on your email list so you can continue to market to them. So all of this is SEO. We are optimizing our profiles using keyword rich keywords
Yes.
that are going to drive our visibility.
Yes.
And I think Google Business Profiles are a great example. Like that is a social platform that is going to help increase your visibility on Google. Like if you don't have that, particularly if you are a brick and mortar or
Brick and
just really
mortar.
yeah, anyone really needs to be on there and to be posting strategic content on there.
Yeah.
So really it's like how do we drive people where we want them to go to multiply all of those results, and there's three different parts of SEO. And if you guys go to my bio, you can download a free like SEO 101 guide that breaks down each of these pieces. But there's on page SEO, which is like, what do you say about your business? There's technical SEO, which is like, how does your business actually work? And then off page SEO, which is like, what are other people saying about your business? So that's like
Hmm.
another great example of why Google business is so important, because you are encouraging reviews. So you're building trust with people. So SEO is a expansive topic, but it all goes back to clarity on messaging and driving your customer strategically through a story, essentially.
And I say this all the time, specifically in the industries that I serve, like med spas, aesthetics. I'm like, people, majority of people, like when I'm looking for a hairstylist, a lot of people come to Instagram for that, right? And
Yeah.
so in the social media side, or if you're a med spa, like I'm literally typing in Denver med spa, Denver Sculptra, Denver, whatever it is. And so if you don't have those keywords in your content, you're not going to get brought up. You're not going to be visible, right? So that's one thing that people are doing that is like pushing them down on the visibility. And it's such an easy tweak, is using those, like using the word med spa, using the word Sculptress, using the word, all that in your reels with the captions and in the
Mm-hmm.
captions below, right? Because when somebody types that in, you will pop up over time and it will get pushed to more people. I mean, everybody thinks that the algorithm's against us, but really the algorithm's so for us. You just have to know how to work it, because if you're doing it right with those SEO things, and especially like on your reels and all that, you're going to get pushed out to your ideal customer. Nobody wants views. If you're like a med spa or a small business owner, like say you are a brick and mortar, right? It doesn't really serve you to have people in Australia, unless you're shipping to Australia, to come and view and like and go to your website, right? Like you want people that are going to buy what you have to offer, that are
Mm-hmm.
need what you have to offer. And the algorithms for that, we just have to use that SEO to help that
Yeah.
push, which
Yeah, and it
I
goes
love.
back to like building a community around your brand, which I think is more important now than ever, because we are on our phones so much. We are in a sense very disconnected, and it's like weird because we're disconnected, but we're more connected than we have ever been. So that is why we partner with like mission-driven brands, because we know that when we build a community around it, when we build trust around a brand, that is how business continues to stay alive. And I think it's very important for business owners to show up online and also to show up in person. And that's, I think, like a little piece that MDM does really well, is leveraging networking and strategic connections to build your brand, essentially. Um, yeah, there's so much to say, but I think it's just important with SEO to know that everyone's coming to your social pages before they
Everyone,
book with you. Like,
it's
period.
crazy. It's your resume, it's your
Yeah.
portfolio. If you're not doing it,
Yeah.
then the person next to you is, and you just lost a
Mhm.
customer.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so
Yeah.
if you had one actionable tip for everybody who watches this to walk away this week to boost their online presence or their visibility, like what's one thing that they could do this week?
Yeah, we're going to stay on the Google business train. We're going to
Okay.
say create the Google business, your Google My Business page, or optimize it if you already have one. I want to see really keyword rich descriptions about what you do and who you serve, positioning the customer as a hero in the story and you as a guide. Um, I want to see social pages linked out, so you can link your social pages to that profile. That's gonna that just doing that. Make sure your location's good. Make sure there's updated photos. Make sure that just looks really solid. Create a few evergreen posts. who you are, who you serve. Go to your content pillars and post some of those. Now, if you're having like a flash sale, like that's not something you would post on Google Business, but something that can exist to tell people about what you do, who you are, who you serve, and how you make people's lives easier. Have that. That is going to make it way easier for Google to pull up your page when you search med spas in Denver or what have you. Then it's going to show. Then the first thing that they're also going to be able to see reviews, so they're building trust with you, right? Encourage your go-to customers, your supporters, have them create a review for you, so you can start building that customer trust. Um, once once you type in Med Spa Denver, if that profile is on lock, if your website is in tip top shape and SEO looks good, you're going to become a better candidate. Google's going to place you higher in those searches. And then the next step that people are going to do is they're going to click right on your social,
Mhm.
probably your Instagram, maybe your TikTok, wherever. So that's like the next layer. And that's how you kind of take them on the journey, because it's like, okay, Google, we're going to social. Social's taking me to the website. Now this person's on either booking with you or on your email list. So that's what you should do this
Love
week.
that. And then my tips for anybody who's doesn't have this done yet is once they're coming on to your social media page, you guys would not believe how many people don't have like even their location in their bio. And especially, I'm like, we need to know where you are, right? Because if I'm in Denver and I'm searching Denver med spas, I'm searching med spas in Westminster, med spas in Denver, like whatever it might be. And when you have those keywords, that SEO in your bio, then it helps me find you, right? And so to be able to optimize your bio with those keywords, making sure that you know like what people are searching, what you offer, all of that, because that like nobody, like when we're searching these things, we want to make sure that people know exactly when they come to your page. Think about if you have 5 seconds to capture your audience's attention. If I'm looking for Sculptra, I should know within that 5 seconds that you offer Sculptra, right?
Yes.
Whether it's in your highlights or your bio or whatever. So that would be mine, is to optimize that bio and your highlights to make sure that it's like your website. When somebody comes, they know exactly what you offer. And if you only had 10 seconds, that's okay, because you've either captured them or they're on their way.
Yes, I love it. And simplicity. I think with messaging, people think they need to be really technical because it shows their expertise. Time and a place again, when you're touching people on like social or touching people that, they don't want to be you know, someone in the med spa doing the actual work. They just want their skin to look better. So keep that message
100%.
simple and clear. Yeah, lots of good tips today.
Love it. Yeah. Well, hopefully people walk away with something to do. I'm so happy that we got to do this. We'll definitely have to do another one because I do feel like I have like
Yeah,
80 things that I could say. But
totally.
I think that's it. So hopefully everybody that's tuning in walked away with a couple of tips. If you have any questions, go follow Marcelo Digital Marketing and Jade Pool for two different types of agencies, but very much supportive of one another. So I think that's it.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Have a
Thanks, Kate.
great
Thanks for
day.
having me. You
Of
too.
course. Bye.
Bye.